the big story we're tracking today. The Supreme Court has in fact talked about providing childcare leave to women, saying that denying childcare leave to a woman is a constitutional violation. The woman had moved the Supreme Court over childcare leave. The petitioner had questioned selective adoption of rules. The Supreme Court emphasized that it is the employer's responsibility to ensure that the women's workforce participation is there, and therefore there are rules like childcare leave that are in fact in place. The Supreme Court stressed that childcare leave rules serve a constitutional objective, and denying this leave is actually in violation of the Constitution. Ensuring that women are not deprived of such a right is the responsibility of the employer. Now, just to put this in context for the benefit of our viewers, there was a petitioner who had actually moved the Supreme Court when she was denied childcare leave by her employer. Her son suffers from a rare genetic condition. She exhausted all her sanctioned leave because of her son's treatment, and then in fact demanded for special leave to address her child's medical concerns. When this was denied, she did move the Supreme Court. I want to go across to Khushbu Jain, advocate of the Supreme Court, and Dr. Ranjana Kumari, women's rights activist, who's joining us on the broadcast for a quick perspective on this issue. Dr. Ranjana Kumari, to you first. You know, it's a very historic thing that has essentially been said in the Supreme Court. This paves way for reform as far as gender just workspaces are concerned. But at the same time, my question to you is very simple. Do you think that this further endangers employability of women employees? I know we've had these conversations in context for maternity leave as well. How do you look at this, and how do you think that this needs to be balanced in order to make sure that there is gender justice, but that there isn't an intrinsic bias in the employability of women?
Absolutely, Rishika. Actually, our work participation rate globally is the lowest in the whole world. You know, one of the lowest. I won't say the last, but one of the lowest, because of all these reasons where women do not get their facilities which they need, which also is being legislated now. So these are women's constitutional right, and if the court denies that means that court is completely ignoring what are the needs of the women, not only the needs of the women, and also disrespect towards reproductive role of women. And here there is an additional issue that here's a child whose life is at risk and mother is needed for looking after the child. So not only that the mother is being denied, but also the child's needs are being not looked at. That means you don't value life. You don't value life. So both ways, this has been a very, very wrong judgment. And I think Supreme Court has done very good, has taken very good decision that this needs to be reinforced. If we have a law to protect women's rights, then we need to reinforce that. We cannot be, courts cannot misinterpret what has been already right of women. Already we have ignored so many things that are happening to women, and even when we have a law to protect the right to have this leave, they are just ignoring that.
Okay. Let me go across to Khushbu Jain. Khushbu, if you can just explain to our viewers what this means. What does childcare leave mean? What is the provision in the law for childcare leave? The Supreme Court has said that this is fundamental in order to ensure participation of women in the workforce. It's historic what has been said in the Supreme Court today. But what does this mean for women, and will this extend to men as well?
See, if you look at Article 15 of the Constitution, that says that participation of women in a workforce is matter of not just a privilege, but of a constitutional entitlement. Now, when we say constitutional entitlement, that means there is a state which is duty bound to protect and to make sure that an environment is created where women are part of workforce, and to an extent that the societal pressures which women has to undergo, apart from the biological factor, apart from other things, these things have to be taken care of. The state cannot be oblivious to the same. So there cannot be parity and equality between a men and women, or a person without a child, or the situations which women have to face. But they have to keep all these things, keeping them in mind is where they will feel that the environment is created, which is yes.
But that was my question, that will childcare leave, for instance, be applicable to men as well? Or is this only for women?
you can bring this to men as well, provided one has to put it across an aspect of, because this is talking about equality. It has Article 50 to do with just men or with women. It is to do with every gender. It's gender
Right.
neutral. So it can apply to men as well, provided that you have to put across the aspect that you're the one who's taking care of this.
You're the primary caretaker of the child. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes. Because when you're talking about women being in workforce, if women is in workforce and both husband and wife are working, there is one parent who has to take care of this. So this can be applicable to both.
Okay, so it can be applicable to both. I think that's also what makes it gender just. But Ranjana Kumari, I'll just come back very quickly to the question that I'd asked you at the outset. That while this is welcome, do you think there has to be a clarity in terms of who this applies to? Child care leave applies to, which kind of medical conditions in a child? Does the duration need to be specified? Do you think there has to be more clarity on all of this? Because like I said, you don't want women to become unemployable if they are given, all of these leaves and provisions. There'll be an intrinsic bias in employability of a woman as well.
Rishika, I don't think that's really a challenge, because anything that happens to women, for example, women want to go and do night work, women want to do work in difficult circumstances also there. So all these things are seen as something which is going against women's access to employment. But I don't think this law is very clear, and Supreme Court's judgment is historic, not only in the sense of restoring her right, but also a message to employers that you cannot deny these rights to a woman. She is the primary caretaker. I mean, if the man applies and he says that I am the primary caretaker, then certainly it should be extended to him also. But in this particular case, where women is the primary caretaker of the child, and child's special needs will have to be looked into, and also that this law really is to not only just to protect women's rights, but also to make the whole society conscious of the fact that women can only work when childcare is looked after.
Yes.
You cannot put the responsibility of having children on women and rearing them and, caring for them, and then also deny them employment. If you do that, then many women, like many countries now are, which are suffering zero growth rate in terms of population, Indian women can also decide not to have children.
Sure.
A lot of young people are not having children because of that. So I think it's important to restore the right of women for,
and strike a balance. Yes, and I think strike a balance somewhere. Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Khushbu, again, I'll come back to you for brass tacks, in terms of what this means. So, do we have more specific definitions of childcare leave in terms of, like I said, what are the medical conditions for which parents are entitled childcare leave, or what is there a fixed duration, or is it a case-by-case situation?
See, if you look into, we already have an act in place, which is RPWD Act, which is already in existence, where it was already asked in for department and the Ministry of Social Welfare Department look into all the aspects of it and come up with a very clear policy where parents, I'm again repeating, parents, not just women or men, into parents of a child who needs some special care, they can be provided, or they can be provided, there can be a policy in this regard where they can have provisions wherein they can take leave, or they can have extended leaves, and what are the scenario in aspects of continuous treatment, in aspects of rare genetic disorder, in aspects of several surgeries that have to go. So that's how the criteria which are being very. Yes, but there are criteria which are already been put in, and those are the criteria where they say that these are the children with special care, and that's the rare disease for which the act is
just dedicate the last 10 seconds, Khushbu. I'm completely out of time, to employer culpability. So, if this is not met, if these criteria are not met, and if a woman or a man, whoever is the primary caregiver of the child, is being discriminated against at work while demanding childcare leave, what is the kind of action that they could potentially take against the employer?
You can absolutely file a case against the state, because this is
yes. Sorry,
this is in contravention to the policy. Okay, this is against the policy. This is against the policy of policy which has been passed under the law, under the act. And once this has been infringed, you have a matter, you can file a case in the court.
You can
even go on filing a writ petition where, your rights have been taken away.
I'm out of time. I'm out of time. Dr. Anjana Kumari, did you want to add something?
No, I just wanted to say that this is, when the laws are in place, then you have to implement them. If you are not, then you are really violating
you
and
are
you
in
are liable for punishment. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you both very much. This has been a very interesting conversation. We sincerely hope that it has helped you, the viewer, to understand your rights better. The Supreme Court, of course, has given a historic verdict today on childcare leave, a story that we will continue to track very closely.